Welcome to Trail Shoes Reviewed. Today we're comparing two of the most popular hiking and trail running shoes on the market, the Hoka Speedgoat 6 and the HOKA Challenger 7. When we look at the two of them, they've got different specifications and they feel different underfoot, so by the end of this video I'll break down these differences so you have a better idea of what works best for you. And when we look at the Speedgoat 6, it's a much heavier shoe, coming in around 277 grams for size 9 men's US versus 250 grams in the Challenger 7, and that plays an influence on what type of activities you'll use them for, and we'll touch on that in a little while. But first I want to talk about the amount of cushioning, and we've got 40mm of cushioning in the rear foot, 35 in the forefoot, giving you a 5mm difference from the back to the front in the Speedgoat 6. We've also got a 5mm drop in the Challenger 7 with 31 in the rear foot, 26 in the forefoot, so that's 9mm of less cushioning underneath your heel, and you definitely notice a difference when you initiate contact with the ground. And you might think that it's a lot softer in the Speedgoat 6 when you hit the ground, but that's definitely not the case. They both have CMEVA cushioning, which is the most common type in the Hoka shoes, but this is a really firm shoe, so when you initiate contact with the ground in the Speedgoat, it's relatively firm, you feel the stiffness in it quite quickly, and you transition nicely from the back to the front of the shoe. In contrast to that, with the Challenger 7, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more compliant, so when you initiate contact with the ground, you sink into it a little bit more, not necessarily mushy or cloud-like, but it's very comfortable, very balanced, and then you transition nicely onto the forefoot. And when we look underneath the shoe, we've got 3.3mm lugs, which make it a perfect road to trail option. So yes, we've got multi-directional lugs, but as they're a little bit shorter than what we see in some other shoes, they transition nicely on from the asphalt to grass onto light technical trails. Whereas we've got 5mm lugs and the Vibram MegaGrip outsole on the Hoka Speedgoat 6. So you've got multi-directional lugs, and you can see that they've got a different pattern than what we have on the Challenger 7, and therefore it provides better grip on more technical trails and deeper mud than what we get in the Challenger 7. So we've got different types of feeling underfoot in terms of the midsole. We've got deeper lugs on the Speedgoat than we have on the Challenger, but they're also different on top. So when we look at the toe box, we've got a nice overlay protector in the Speedgoat 6 that isn't present on the Challenger 7. Now the Challenger 7 is a true to size and fit for us, and it's got a little bit wider of a toe box than we see in the Speedgoat 6. Speedgoat 6 is quite a narrow race type fit in the toe box, so those of you with a broader foot, you might want the wider option, which is available, but we don't have a wide option available in the Challenger 7 at the moment. Then as we move up the shoe, we've got a much thinner gusseted tongue on the Speedgoat 6 than we have on the Challenger 7, which is a little bit more comfort focused, so it's a bit more padded. Both of them are gusseted, so it's great for keeping out debris and keeps your tongue in place. You might notice a little bit of bite on the tongue from the laces on the Speedgoat 6, as it's a little bit thinner than what we might like. We've got plenty of padding around the heel cup on both, and we've got a little bit stiffer of a heel cup on the Challenger 7 than we do on the Speedgoat 6. And when we look at the back of the shoe, we've got a nice bevel on the back which assists with landing, especially when we're going downhill on the Challenger 7, and it's not as aggressive or as prominent on the Speedgoat 6. So if we want to use them for road to trail, we would think the Challenger 7 is probably a better option. It's got shorter lugs, therefore you don't feel them as prominently underfoot. It can transition nicely from grass onto light trails to light mud. But if you're looking for a shoe that you can use for longer distance runs, longer hikes, then the Speedgoat 6 is an excellent option. It's really good in deep mud, on wet rocks, on technical terrain, and because of the amount of cushioning underfoot in terms of volume, it's an excellent shoe for doing ultra distance running or ultra distance hiking. If you've got any questions on either of these shoes, please drop them in the comment section below. If you want to check out the latest prices, we've got links to them for Amazon in the description. Otherwise, liking, sharing, subscribing makes a massive difference to us. Thank you very much for watching.